Welcome, Dr. Hamid Mian. I would like to share your understanding of the physiology of belief. And before we go into details, I would like to know a bit about yourself. Could you please explain that how did you come to this journey and your background and your interest in the Quran, please?
My journey is actually very long, but I will give you glimpses of that. I was born in a religious home, and obviously I had a lot of questions in my mind. And when I left my country around at the age of 18, that's where I got into these questions, because I was in a different country, different religion. So those questions started bothering me a lot. So then I started reading a lot of books. The first book I came across was Ahmad Didat's Who Moved the Stone. That triggered me a little bit, but wasn't that great. Then the Bible, the Quran, and the Science when I was in Dominican Republic. So I read that, and that triggered me a lot. That made me believe that Quran is definitely a book which we should read. I've been reading the Quran, but then I didn't get anything out of it for a long time. So that made me believe. My belief continued to get stronger and stronger.
Just a question. When did you leave Pakistan for US?
And that was 1982.
And from where did you graduate?
I graduated in Dominican Republic, the capital of Santo Domingo. Then from there I went to New York, and I did my further studies in Albert Einstein and graduated, and then I did my specialization in nephrology, and then that was 1995. So then after, there was a book, embryology book, Dr. Keith L. Moore, and when he brought his next edition, he added an extra page where he mentioned that whatever we have researched till today about embryology, it was written in the Quran 1400 years ago. So that was very inspirational for me. So then my belief on Quran continued to get bigger and bigger and grow. So in 1998, I received the first book of Mano Yazdan of Allama Pervez, and that that was epiphany. So that's where I got, this is it, this is what I wanted. So I got it. So from there on, I started reading and listening and watching whatever was there. So it took me 10 years. I did a lot of study while I was very, very busy in my practice, and that's the time I really put my effort into. I slept 3-4 hours, which I have to pay physically later on.
Manu Yazda has been now translated by myself, and it's titled The Human Self and Allah. It's a wonderful book.
Yeah, what I believe that believing in ourselves, believing in God is a secondary. What happened is it's a prerequisite to believe in ourselves, to believe in God. If you don't believe in yourself, you can't believe in God. So that's it's like if you didn't read the English 1 subject, they not let you read English 2. So that is a prerequisite to get to English 2.
So that's essentially
it's actually basic requirement to believe in yourself, to believe in God. You can't believe in God until you believe in yourself. So that is the basic point what I learned. So when we say believing in ourselves means we work the way higher self works. Because I'm a student of science and medicine, so I know when we went to school, the first subject was histology, which is study of cell. If you understand a cell, exactly the body works the way cell works. So they have all the systems, nervous system, digestive system, pulmonary system. So basically, if you understand cells thoroughly, you understand the whole body. Same way, if you understand yourself, you will understand God. So from there on, I realize, and it's smaller beliefs. You don't have to get to God in a first jump, no. You have to take smaller steps. So continue to bring your beliefs on a higher level. It's an evolutionary process to get to God. You can't get to God, in a day. So once human achieves something, that brings power into you, that make you believe in a higher thing. And then once you achieve that, then you go higher and higher that way. It's a step, it's a ladder.
Just a question here for my own understanding. So you mean that as you believe in your own self, when I say in my own self, means my own strengths, my own abilities, and where one is lacking, that means that one has to work to fill that gap.
Exactly.
And also apply in education, whatever one is doing in life.
Well,
so how do you relate the two?
The tools to believe in yourself is basically how you are a self. You have to look at the higher self. The tools he provides, basically all the attributes of any personality, attributes of any self. If it's a higher, ultimate, developed, superlative, that is your model. So now those tools, those attributes, you bring it in yourself. If he says, I am in present, I'm omnipresent, I don't have past, I don't have future. So you have to achieve that attribute. That is a tool. So you start believing. If he says, Allah, Kul Wallahu Ahad, I am unified, I'm not dual, right? So self cannot be dual. And if you have a self, you should not be dual. So you should not be monophonic. So basically, these are the tools. Once I become unified in myself, that is believing in yourself. Means what the Qaid has, that's the highest quality he had, unified self. Unified self can do anything in this world, just one attribute. Imagine if you bring one attribute in yourself and you build it, you can do wonders.
Do you think that to have a unified self, how much one should have understanding of own psychology or own consciousness or any cognitive dissonance one might have in the mind? So is it a prerequisite?
Well, basically, once you become unified, means whatever you say, you do. That is the basic principle. Look at the higher self, how this whole universe came into existence.
Higher self, you mean
God.
The concept of God as
God.
in the
Higher self is the ultimate power which is sustaining the whole universe, including us. So now, if you look at the higher self, he works through kun fayakun. Means kun is his conscious, right? Alme Amar, conscious. In our conscious, our thought, our soul, whatever you say, Khudi, you decide something.
Okay.
Now, the process is the moment you decide, you start doing it. So saying and doing has to be together. If you say something and you don't do, you're monophonic, you're dual. So what he said, kun fayakun, he said it, he decided it, he believed in it, and it happened. The process probably can take billions of years in his time because he has no time. So he's in present. So for us, there is a time.
Yes, for human beings,
we have a limited time. So what we have to do is once we say something, once we decide something, we have to act on it. So that is the first thing. Once you start doing it, you can achieve anything. If you're determined, and the process is like, we know it's written everywhere. It says, Iman, Yaqeen Muhkam and Amle Pahm. The belief system works
So
in.
Iman is conviction.
Iman is, no, let me explain. Iman is a thought. Thought is basically electrical charges. And thought is always dual because it's monofic. You know, when we think something, any time a thought comes to your mind, you say, okay, should I do it or shouldn't I do it? I should drink, I shouldn't drink. I should go this way or I should go that way. So thought is always has two options, means dual. So you have to, first part is to bring the thought into unity. What you have to do. So then you decide, okay, I'm going to go this side, right path, not the wrong one. That's the first step. To align your thought, to make it unified. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Now, then you have to, because we are adult, in adulthood, everything we learn by repetition. So what you have to do, you have to repeat that thought. Now, the formula for that is if you can say, oh God, give me a courage. I have to do this. I have to do this. So you keep repeating it. Keep repeating it. You basically asking you, through you to him. It has to be through you. Okay, so when you say that, give me a courage. I have to do this, no matter what. So those repetition, what it does, it involves your heart. Because then the more you do it, the more emotions you develop. That it has to be done. I have to do it. So what will happen is it start becoming your passion because this is electrical charges. Thoughts is electrical charges. Heart, it creates magnetic waves. So electromagnetism, what we know today, it's a very early theory, but what I'm saying is this is how it probably happened. So now, once you have this, it becomes your passion. And the more emotions you have, in some place I read, if you drop a tear with those emotions, that I'm gonna do this, and you cry for that, that means you achieve the threshold. The moment you achieve the threshold with the thought and means your mind and your heart aligns, that is the point which is called Yaqeen Muhkam. So Iman, Iman is basically aligning your thought from duality to unified. Then repetition brings it to Yaqeen Muhkam. The moment you get there, believe me, Amle Pahm automatically happens. It has to be persistently, perseverantly, perseverantly, you act on it because it's a passion of yours. Once it becomes your passion, they say there are two types of mindset goals and heart set goals. Mindset goals, if there's a lot of restrictions or hurdles, you tend to give up. But in your passions, nothing can stop. You have to achieve it. So that is the basic concept of belief, what I'm trying to say. So, we are not talking about believing in Quran or God, or we are just believing in ourselves first. This is where we have to, once we start believing in ourselves, believe me, we will believe in God.
Now, how do you see environment affecting it? Because all this belief system which one is trying to follow or one comes up with, how the environment in which an individual grows, how that affects the individual. And connected with that, my second question is education and training.
Right. So that is totally different perspective because that is our developing subconscious. So what happens is in early age, when a child born, he does not have a choice to be born in a religious house or in a whatever country or whatever family or nation. He has no choice. The first birth is choiceless, without choice. So anything we give it to him in the first 7 years, given by the parents, by the society, surrounding, religious priest or mullahs, Those are all given without choice. Child has no choice, but he just receives. He's a sponge at that time. He's in basically hypnotic and sleeping mode. He just scans the society, the parents, and the behavior even, emotions even. So he just is, now we understand how we scan it. You have a hard drive, you have a scanner, you put a paper on it, you scan it, it goes here. It's a memory. How we develop memory in adulthood? By repetition. So he doesn't have to go through that. He doesn't repeat it. So he just scan it and he has the memory. So first hard drive he built, which is subconscious, is tremendous amount of information in that in 7 years. So 7 years he basically built his hard drive, which is subconscious, which is his habitual mind, which is his comfort zone, which is whatever. I mean, that is your basically initial life without choice. Now, if you continue to live on that, on your subconscious level, that is your first choice without your making it your own choice, and that is not yours. So that's why they say your life is being lived even though you think you're living your life. Means you are habitually living. You are in automation.
Yes, I have some interest in consciousness to reality. So essentially they say the others are creating your reality.
Exactly. I mean, as I said before, we believed in seeing is believing. If you see something and believe, then you are a victim. Because the outer environment is creating your reality. But if you believe and that's what you see, you are a creator. Imagine the difference. Over there you are a victim. Seeing is believing is your victim. Believing is seeing is you are a creator. So imagine how big difference is. And what we do today is we believe seeing is believing. And when imagine you're watching.
I agree with you, because seeing is believing has become a very common phrase. And everyone thinks to believe it without thinking about it.
Imagine if you have let's say I own the media of the world, and I am behind the scene, and I am projecting on the TVs, which is in every house, and I'm projecting what I want to project. And what you're seeing is you're believing. So I make everybody's belief of my belief converting to everybody. So how powerful is that? And that's what exactly we are doing. So behind the media, the powers, they are projecting things which we start believing. That's why it's the biggest God today. The media is the biggest God today. And the future God, what I'm going to tell, that is dataism. Dataism means whoever owns the information, the most information, Google, could be Amazon, that would be the future God. So they are working on it. So dataism will be the next. If, because there is a void right now in the world, there is no ism available. The liberal democracy is almost dying since the Brexit and the Trump. We're getting into different. So what I'm saying is they retreated themselves. They said, they raised their hand. We have nothing to do with the world. We have to save our own countries. You figure it out. We're not planning to give you the globalism. You have to figure it out. So now there is a void. In this void, you could have a dataism. You could have a global political Islam. You could have a Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever idea come up, and if it's stronger than other ideas, that will prevail.
So you mean that believing thing will come into it then?
Yes, the future is, I 100% believe, future is believing. Believe will be the most important thing in future. So we already know, I mean, it's existing.
Sorry for interruption, Dr. Hamid. So that means if all this social media, where commoners are coming together, if they all intensely believe somehow, let's take it hypothetically, then they are going to make a big difference in the future of this world?
But the more I understand, the more I believe that even in the Quran it says, "Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma bi qawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim." Even God does not change the status of the nation or the world unless every individual bring a change within their own psyche. As long as we...
So this what you stated, it seems to be that it is a permanent value.
Yes, because the clue is we can keep building outside, huge buildings, cars, roads, nothing will change. 2/3 of population is still hungry. It's the change within. The moment, right now we want this kind of world. Every human is, oh yeah, so everybody wants this life. So that's why it exists. The moment you decide, I don't want this kind of world, it will disappear. It will come what you want. So it's the belief you bring in. What happened in French Revolution? They said, we don't want this. It's nonsense. So the moment human collectively decide that we are sick and tired of wars, we are sick and tired of hunger, depression, oppression, we don't want this kind of life. It will change, believe me. So the believing within yourself will bring, it's like believing is seeing. So once you believe that, outer will change automatically.
Because your inner world has changed.
The moment your inner world change, outer world change. Physically. Because thought becomes reality. It's written, thought becomes reality. Even in Bible it says, it is done unto you as you believe. Done. I mean, imagine how powerful it is. It is done unto you as you believe. So it's so powerful. So it's the same thing, kun fayakun. This is how we operate. Every human operate on kun fayakun. Because this is how the higher self operates. This is how lower self operates. If I'm thirsty, and that thought is electrical charges, what happens? Where is my water? That water comes, right away. So this is physical. This is physics. This is matter. That was non-matter. That was metaphysical. So you see how metaphysics change into physics? This is how God operates. So he decide, basically if you look at it, can you see sodium? No. Can you see chloride? No. When you bring it together, what happens? It's salt. It's like a solid thing. So this is how he created. He just keep bringing in a certain proportion things, and then that's what we do in lab basically. This came into existence the same way. So basically what you decide, that should happen.
So how will technology affect this side of human psyche, in your view? What I mean is the smartphones and iPhones and the way communication has changed. It has tremendous effect on human belief system as well.
Exactly. The technology is there is a very subtle difference between technology and science. Science is real. Technology is a little bit fake. It's an offshoot of science. What is science? Science is exploration of truth by experimentation. So this is science. When a child says 2 + 2 5, no. 2 + 2 3, no. 2 + 2 4. Oh, this is true. You see how every human is looking for truth from day one. So means science tell us find the truth. Yes. Now what happens? Science, if there is a truth coming out of, that is science. In any experiments, if there is a truth coming out, that is science. But if we bring the technology out of science, and that controls human. Truth prevails, technology controls human. So that gives you freedom, science. The technology make you slave. So that's the difference, big difference.
Is it because the technology is in the hands of those who are rich and powerful?
People who are creating these things, you see, creation is never bad. You see, Quran says, min sharri ma khalaq. I mean, we have written zillions of books on ethics and what is right, what is wrong, what is haq, what is batil. What I say is the creation, the takhliq, is always not shar, not evil. We make it evil or good, human. This is not evil, even if it's a human-made creation. This is not evil. We make it evil or we make it good. If I go through and learn a lot of knowledge from it, Quran from it, it's good for me. But if I watch wrong things, I make it evil. So in the same way, anything which God created is not shar, is not evil. We make it evil or
It's the way we use it.
so if they're the scientists in the laboratories, they do not create evil. What happens is the universities who controls them, they take that because they own it, they patent it, and then they control it for their own agendas, for their own purpose. But the creation itself is not bad. The light, you see, Edison brought the whole humanity out of darkness in physical form, physical darkness at least. So imagine today we are, and he created it. Now, companies who control it, that is, I mean, they make money out of it. Yeah. So these technologies are very, very powerful. It uniting the whole humanity. They divided the humanity into pieces. Now these technology, even though they are making it for their own profit, but by default it's uniting humanity.
That's very good.